Blog Talk Radio.
Tell me every day, nothing's gonna come my way. It's so true. I hope to fly high on something that's gonna last. I wanna live and forget the past. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Wonder where the wind will blow. You got a clue, you let me know. Don't hold back now. Give me a sigh. Tell me something really good. If you dream, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me everything changes in its own way. I'm feeling better every day. I'm gonna look back at all of this okay. I'm even though I can't I know the things will do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good.
Aloha. Good evening. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com, and now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with SuNite. You okay back there? Shelley?
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter.
To start your show now,
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, time out. I have to connect it back in here now. I'm not sure who's playing games, but this is up for it.
This service is provided by freeconferencing. Access code accepted. The course is being recorded.
Okay, so Shelley, are you still with us?
I am.
Okay, good. I know there's some weird stuff going on, but you know, this is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com, and now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with human values. Tonight we're talking with Shelley Blanzy. Is that how you say your last name there now?
Yes.
Blanzy, all the way out of Chicago, Illinois, talking about qualify yourself to create your own success. And thank you for being here, Shelley. Appreciate it. So, and we're going to talk to Shelley in a little bit. Just to let you know, she's a single mom out of Chicago. Shelley Blanzy has a passion for loving her family and empowering people. She is a strong, powerful woman living a life of integrity and enjoys giving people hope by instilling in them the belief that they can become whomever they choose to be. Blanzy has owned and operated multiple businesses over the years, having found her calling when she was introduced to the network marketing. She became one of the most sought out after female international trainers in the company she currently builds in, and has built several successful sales organizations around the world. Blanzy speaks, trains, and inspires people all over the world while participating in the expansion of one of the fastest growing internet-based travel companies in the world. She's a co-author with the World Acclaimed writers Les Brown, an international motivational speaker, and Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, while also expanding her role in the world by mentoring individuals, speaking at leadership conferences, women's events, and corporate venues. In her personal life, Blanzy strives to set an example for her kids to be a worthy role model, living an authentic life of honesty and integrity. She has a strong passion for creating a sisterhood of women to empower one another. She teaches women to create and manifest their dreams while balancing the roles of business owners and mother. For more on Shelley Blanzy, you can go to www.shelleyblanzy.com, and that's SHELLEYBLANZY.com. So, and we're going to talk some more with Shelley. Right now, what I do want to do is give a big aloha to all of our underwriters to help make the show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Maha Dikini Lorraine at www.mahadikini.com. Maha Dikini Lorraine's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and a tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dikini Lorraine is also a graduate of Margot Non's year-long Skydancing Tantra Facilitator Training Program, and is a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, as well as a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends training and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. And then we have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul through our purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what Ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself, your emotions and feelings, in your mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul center process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. Now, and just to let you guys know, I've done a number of journeys with people, and recently I wrote a book to supplement this. So you can literally go to spiritualwomensproductions.com or 90dayascensionjourney.com, and there you'll find a gift where you can click on a page that will give you information about it. Or you can also go on Amazon and either do the paperback or Kindle version as well if you want. Anyhow, we also have the MUFON Symposium 2016 at www.mufonsymposium.com. The 2016 MUFON Symposium, UFOs from Oceans to Outer Space, is the 47th Annual International UFO Symposium sponsored by MUFON. This year's event features outstanding UFO researchers and investigators from all over the world, including Rich Hoffman, Cheryl Costa, and Bill Schroeder, sharing their insights on UFOs, where they're from, what they are, and what this means for mankind. Join Andrew, Aloha, myself, and I, and other scientifically minded people for a great event in Orlando, Florida, from the 25th through 28th of August of this year. And if you happen to drop by and see me there, just give me a big aloha and at least let me know that you're there. Thank you for doing so. And then also we have Soul Dance with Sunil Ahuja at www.integral-trans, that's TRANSF-ormation, ORMATION.com. Soul Dance is attracting and creating fulfilling relationships in your life. In Soul Dance, you let go of those ideals of how things are supposed to be and experience yourself, your partner, and the relationship as it is in the moment. In absolute love and truth, you discover that actually knowing yourself, your partner, and experiencing what is happening is far more fulfilling than trying to make everything fit into an idealized image of that is supposed to make you happy. Experience Sildance in Scottsdale, Arizona, from the 26th to the 28th of August of this year. Contact Sunil Huja at 480-314-9281, 480-314-9281, and reserve your seats today. Now, thank you, and I apologize that I know this was a last minute thing, but I think everything seems to be working out, and I want to thank you for stopping by, Shelley. I appreciate your being here. So, let me ask, well, go ahead, and welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you for having me.
Thank you, and I know you're a busy person, and thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight. First of all, I want to get to know who Shelley Blanzy is. Just kind of give us an idea of, give us a bio, and we got plenty of time about where you grew up at, what got you motivated into this direction, and how you ended up in where you're at now. So wherever you want to start, go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. I'm not from Chicago, so that's where I was born and raised. And I was born there, and my dad passed away when I was 2 years old. So at that time, I was the sixth child, and my mom had $26 in the bank account, and so life was, a little bit different. She wasn't really prepared for the loss of, her main income stream, income earner to the company. And so then, when we were growing up, it was different. We just didn't have a lot, and when you're born in humble beginnings, you just learn different things. So by the age of 5, I'd been sexually molested, and then 6, my mom remarried at that time, and she remarried a very physically abusive, verbally abusive man into our house. So I was the girl that would be taken out of the household in the middle of the night and then brought back into that household repeatedly. We just kept on, living that life over and over. And, as a child, you don't know any different. And so, we were taught to steal as kids. I would be taken into the grocery store and, my mom would put the meat down the front of her pants and we'd walk out. I'd be the kid that walked into Kmart with no shoes on, walking out, with shoes on. And, at one point in time, they stopped my mom. They took us in the back room. And I was probably about 7 years old at the time. And, they told us that, if I told the truth that, they wouldn't take my mom to jail. And at that point in time in my life, I'd already lost my dad. I didn't want to lose my mom, so I told the truth. And, pretty much the stealing, stopped at that point. But, my household was still very abusive, and then my mom had 2 more children after that. So, technically come from a family of 8, there's 8 of us. And, so it was just tight quarters, just different, and then by the age of 9, my older sister, she got pregnant, and she was 15 at the time, had her first child at 16. And so this would be, schlepped off to, help take care of the baby, since my mom had a 2 and a 3-year-old and didn't really have time to take care of her children. So I would go and help my sister with her babies and stuff like that. And her husband was a drug dealer. So then I got introduced to a drug-infested home. So I saw drug busts. I saw different sorts of things in my life. And at this point in time in my life, I just kept on thinking there's got to be more to life than this. Like, this can't be all that there is this type of lifestyle. And I just kept on dreaming, that I'd be a millionaire one day. I was like, I just want to be a millionaire. I just want to have things that other people have. Like, I don't want to struggle. I want to be normal like everybody else. And so I just wanted a pair of Nike tennis shoes like everybody else. I just wanted to fit in. And so I started working when I was 11 years old. I started working on a farm. So I would ride my bike 5 miles every day to this farm, and I'd pick beans. And the one thing that the farmer said to me one day, he said, "Shelley, if you get really good at picking beans," he said, "you can come back in the afternoon and I'll put you to work in the afternoon." And I was like, okay, so I can make more money? And he said, yeah, if you get really good at it. So I got really good at picking beans. And that was a big deal for me, because I was like, I don't think that I knew at the time, but he was like, if you get good at something, you get more. And so it just started making sense to me at such a young age, at that age. And so when I was about 12 years old, you know, I would do that every summer. I'd go and work there just to be able to do that. And then when I was 12, at that point in time, my mom had started breeding dogs so she could bring extra money into our household. And so she was making extra money. And she decided that she was going to put me into modeling school. So I started going to modeling school. And I just found out really young in life that I didn't have any confidence to stand or walk in front of people. And, you know, to have people look at me and my posture was so bad, they used to put a broom across my back and make me walk in front of everybody just to straighten it out. And so I did that for about 4 years, and it wasn't my dream, it was my mom's dream. I just did nothing about it, felt right to me or, you know, felt comfortable. And so then when I was about 14 years old, my sister came home one day and she had this big case of stuff, and she said, here, my girlfriend went to cosmetology school. She decided that she wasn't going to do it. She didn't want this stuff. And she said, you know, you were always cutting your doll's hair, so maybe you want to do something with this. And so I was like, okay. And so where I grew up, most people didn't have money. So I started going to my neighbor's house and to my friends and asking them if I could cut their hair. So I started cutting people's hair. So I didn't even know it, but at the age of 14, I became an entrepreneur and, you know, started my own business. And so I was just going around cutting people's hair, making a couple bucks here and there. And then when I started driving at the age of 16, then I was driving to people's homes and making a little bit more money, you know, finding more people that wanted to get their hair permed or cut. So, yeah, so I was doing that, and then I went to school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I really thought that I wanted to become a teacher, and so I remember going in and seeing my counselor, and my counselor asked me, he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to become a teacher, and he said, well, you don't come from money, Shelley, and, you know, I was a free lunch girl, so they already knew that I didn't have any money or anything like that. He said, you know, he said, is there anything else that you like to do? And I said, well, I cut people's hair. And he said, well, why don't you take the vocational program here in high school? And it's free, doesn't cost anything. You can become a hairstylist, you can get licensed. And he said, if you ever make enough money, you could go back to school and, you know, become a teacher. And I was like, okay, cool. So I started in the vocational program. I got out of school and, you know, I graduated from high school, and so I had my license to cut hair, so I went to a salon. I started working in a salon, and I just found out at 18 that I was not going to be a good employee. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like being told what to do and how to work. And so, I know, right? A lot of people don't realize it until they're late in life. I realized it really young in life, but here's what would happen was my boss was out making me go door to door, put flyers in people's mailboxes and everything, and so I was out here doing footwork trying to build up a clientele, and so I'd bring people into the salon and I would cut their hair and she'd take 50% of my pay, and I was like, it wasn't so great because my mom was always standing at the back door because when I turned 18, my Social Security check got cut off, and so my mom made me pay her $25 a week to live at home when I turned 18.
Oh my God, holy cow.
I know, it doesn't sound like a lot of money now, but I was making $49 a week, you know, by the time the taxes got paid, my health insurance, everything. So yeah, so it wasn't a lot of money, and so I was making more money though when I was doing it on my own, cutting people's hair, you know, for a couple bucks, you know, to the traditional way of making money. And so I was like, dang, my boss is really onto something. And I was like, you know, I don't want to do what she does. I want to, you know, have other people work. So I was recognizing leverage at 18. I was like, okay, she's leveraging people. I want to figure out how to leverage. Yeah, I needed gas money.
Yeah, right?
Like, I want to yeah, so I needed some gas money, needed some money to go hang out and have some fun, and it really wasn't cutting it. So then by the time that I was 22, I started my own hair salon, and I don't come from money, of course, so I had to go to a bank and get a loan, and it was $80,000. And Andrew, I just remember waking up every morning and going into these banks, and every bank telling me no after no after no, and I would just pull the covers up over my head, and I was like, God, come on, today's got to be the day that you know, like I felt it in my heart, you know, that this was truly what I wanted to do. And so finally one day I walked into a bank and they said yes, and I was like, yes. And so it's crazy because everybody thinks that you're rich when you own your own business, and all that did was pay for all the equipment to get put in there, you know, to get the place all set up. It didn't give me employees. It didn't, you know, just a little bit of money to cover my overhead. And so I owned that business for 7 years, and really pretty much it owned me. You know, at the same time when I started, yeah, people don't realize it. They think owning a business is everything, and I'm like, you know, can be, but, you know, it's definitely a lot of work, you know, and I became the cleaning lady, I became the plumber, I became the handyman. When something got broke, you know, it was easier to figure it out than to pay somebody, you know, to come in, and sometimes it costs you more if you can figure it out the right way, you know. So, but at the same time, when I was 22, I got married to my boyfriend, and so we got married, and, you know, a couple of years later, I had my daughter, my first daughter, when I was running my business. And not long after, when I was pregnant, I, you know, started finding out that my marriage was just full of infidelity. And when I was 6 months old, I came to a crossroads in my life, and I was like, okay, you know, I got to figure out whether or not I'm going to stay in this marriage or if I'm going to leave it. And so I decided to leave it. And so now I have a business, I have my own home, I have a baby, and I was just overwhelmed, you know, like with life. I was like, man, this was not everything that I thought that it would be. And so I was still cutting hair, and I had 14 hairdressers, and one of the girls that worked for me, she came up to me one day and she was like, hey, this guy really likes you, and, you know, is really interested. And I was like, what's his name? What does he do? And, you know, she told me, and then she told me that he was a sportscaster for ABC, and, you know, I was like, oh no. I just got out of a mess. I don't need to get into another mess. And so, you know, then he started showing up at the gym. We started working out and, you know, hanging out. We became friends and that. Next thing I know, got married to him, and then had baby number 2. And then after we had my second daughter, you know, he got an offer to move here to Chicago, and it was such a great market. And, you know, I mean, life could be different for me then. I didn't have to own a business. He'd be making enough money for me to stay at home, and I tell everybody I was living the dream, you know, the dream life. Like, I had a big, beautiful home. We had nice cars. I didn't have to work. We bought, you know, a vacation home in Arizona. I bought some land. You know, so I started investing into real estate. So I started playing around in that. I was playing around in the stock market, staying home with my daughters. And after we moved to Chicago, not long after that, had baby number 3. So I have 3 beautiful children. I have 2 girls and a boy. And so I was staying at home, loving life, you know, just doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to. I was working 1 day a week, you know, just cutting hair just because I missed it. You know, I just always felt like I thought staying home was cool, but, you know, I just missed having something for me. So I did it 1 day a week just because, to be really honest, is because I really don't like cleaning my house, and I couldn't justify cleaning my house if I wasn't working. And I thought, well, this way I'd make enough money at least to cover a cleaning lady that I love, instead of something that I didn't love, right?
Exactly right.
So, yeah, so it was kind of like a justification for me to have a cleaning lady. And so, yeah, so I was doing that. And then I just was always having this stirring in my stomach, you know, that something wasn't right in my marriage. And I just didn't want to believe that anything could happen again like it did in my first marriage. And so I was determined, though, this time that I was going to fight for my marriage because I loved my life. You know, I loved my kids and, you know, the lifestyle that we had. I didn't want to give up all that. And then about, you know, 10 years ago, when I was out at my home in Arizona, my girlfriend that lives in Chicago too, she was out there, and she was talking to some friends of ours that we had over for dinner as well about going to this meeting and, you know, going out to dinner. And I like piped up. I was fixing them dinner, and I was like, hey, I want to go out to dinner with you guys. And she goes, oh, well, we're going to a meeting. And I knew what she did, but I just never had any interest in it, you know. She was makeup, skincare. And I was like, I just didn't want to do it. I, you know, helped her have little parties, do some things. I was like, I wasn't, you know, I didn't want to sell anything my whole life. And so then I said, well, how long is your meeting? She said like 45 minutes. And I go, well, I can sit through that. I just really wanted to go out to dinner with them. Because when you're a stay-at-home mom, dinner is like the biggest thing out there. And I was like, dinner or lunch, I was always in on. And so, so I, you know, went out to dinner with them. And then we went to this meeting and we were sitting there and, you know, pulled up in a slide that said how much money you make, average monthly incomes, and it said that she made about $30,000 a month because I knew her title because every time I call her cell phone, it would say it on there. And I looked at her and I was like, "You make $30,000 a month?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Selling skincare?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Sign me up for that deal. Like, I'm in. Like, I'm a risk taker." Like, oh, I'm like, I put $80,000 into a business, you know, and broke free after 7 years. And so I was like, you know, I'll give it a shot, you know. So I jumped on board with that company. And, you know, I remember my first paycheck, you know, it came in at a whopping $120. And I was like, okay, this is not good.
And you said selling skincare, is that what I heard you say earlier?
Yes.
Oh, well, really? Okay.
Makeup. Yeah. Yeah, so I was doing that, and so my first paycheck was $120. My next paycheck was about $1,200. My next one was like $3,400. And so it just kept on growing, and then in 6 months, you know, I was earning six figures. The company was paying for Mercedes for me.
Wow.
And, you know, I was doing awesome with that company.
Good job.
I've never done anything like that, but, you know, it wasn't, you know, it was just me. I was just excited about it, you know, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that this is really true. But I also remember, you know, having a moment where I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Like, I never wanted to sell anything. I never, you know, I wasn't what I didn't think I wanted to do it. And so I was doing that, and I was doing really well with it. I was like, you know, the #1 region in the nation for 10 months straight and here in the U.S. And so I was doing really well. And then, you know, I came home one day and my son's football coach 2 years prior, who I didn't really have a relationship with, I just recognized him. I knew who he was. My son was in kindergarten at the time when he was his coach, so I didn't really think it was really necessary that you needed to have a great relationship with a coach at the age of 5. And so, but I'd say hello to him. So when I walked in my door one day and he was sitting at my kitchen table, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Why is this guy here? Is what I'm thinking in my head. Like, you know, and I just remember my husband at the time, he was like, hey, you know, you remember John, don't you? And I was like, yeah, what are you doing here? And he was like, he does what you do. And I was like, do you sell Arbonne? Like, you sell skincare? And he goes, no, he does network marketing. And I go, no, I'm not interested at all. I put my crossed fingers up, and I said, if you don't believe me, you can go on my blog. I've already earned a car, you know, the Mercedes. And, you know, he was like, no, he's with, you know, another company. And I'm like, you know, what is it? And I said, give me a spiel. What do you got? Because I felt really bad, because I felt like I kind of just pulled the air right out of him. Just, I was like, okay, what do you have? And so he was brand new at it, didn't really, you know, he was kind of flipping around on the computer. And I just said, hey, you know what, do me a favor. Just leave me some information. I'll take a look at it. And, you know, I was really, you know, the entrepreneur, the business type-minded person. I said, just leave it for me and I'll take a look at it. And I really didn't have any intentions on looking at it, except for one day I was sitting down. My kids had gone, you know, with my husband at the time back to Ohio, and, you know, my sister was watching them, and I started flipping through this magazine that he left for me, and I started recognizing a baseball player, a football player, a weatherman from Chicago, and I was like, men do network marketing? Like, I didn't know that because I had never done it before. I'd never even heard the word network marketing. And so when I realized that men did it, a light bulb went on for me. I thought, wow, I can make this much money working with just women. What about if I had something that works for men in it? And when it was in the travel industry, I was like, I'm in on that. Like, I love vacationing. I was like, it was just an inherent yes. And so, I remember, within a couple of days after I did some research, called him several times, and I remember jumping on board with that company, and I was like, man, if this was for real, this could definitely change my life, and hopefully at the time, I was thinking that it could save my marriage, because I thought if my husband and I, could do it together, it'd be awesome. And so, we set out, he didn't really want to do it in the beginning, and, I kind of told him, just look at our life, we were passing each other, and so he agreed to it, and then about 6 months into it, his company came to him and said that, he couldn't have any part of it because they didn't want him using his name or anything like that. So, he had to step back, and so I just started taking over. But I actually, it was different from my other company because they have this training system that we didn't have in our other company. Like, I read books on network marketing. That's how I learned how to do it. I went and got trained by professionals because I was a professional hairstylist. I always wanted to be the best at what I did, and it goes back to my farming days when the farmer said to me, "You get really good at this." So I just always knew that if you got really good at something, worth getting good at, that it would be good. And so I got trained by people. So when, I was doing this, we had this training system, and I was going to the trainings, and I just was like blown away with everything that it was, and I started falling in love with the culture and the people. And so I stepped away from my other company, and I ran this one completely separate, from it. And I really did. I fell in love with the culture, and then I started taking the trips, and the trips just blew me away. I mean, I can't even tell you today. I keep on saying that I'm going to start a journal and go back and write down every country that I've trained in. It's catapulted into things that I just never would have thought. So I started going to the trainings and then building my business, and then along the way, my marriage still was unfolding and unraveling. And so we decided that we were going to, get a divorce. And so we got a divorce and was building my business. And then as I was doing this, it's like looking at from the outside in, it looked really good. I still lived in a beautiful home and everything. And at the time, my ex had lost his job. They didn't renew his contract, and so he was out of work. And so as we were going through this, it took several years. But at the time, he hadn't had a job in like 4 years. And, when I got divorced, my attorney looked at me and he said, well, Shelley, I got some good news and I got some bad news. And I was like, okay. And he said, good news is you're divorced. He said, bad news is you're $1 million in debt. And I was like, what? So I was like, how is this possible? And along the way, the house payments weren't being made, and I was just maintaining the bills and, my car payment and taking care of the kids. So I wasn't getting any financial support. I wasn't getting any alimony. I wasn't, for the 2 years that we were going through that process, I got zero money to help take care of my kids.
Wow.
So I was doing well, taking care of them. And so I was like, well, what does that mean? And my attorney said, you're going to lose everything. I'm like, everything? And he said, yeah. And I said, like, my home? And he said, yeah. And I said, wow, like, this is just crazy to me. And I said, what am I going to do? And he said, you're going to start over. And I was like, wow. He goes, you're just going to walk away and you're just going to start over. And I was like, I never imagined, like, my whole life I had never been late on my bills. I never lived, outside my means, nothing. And I was like, this is crazy. We had, bought into another business that I bought, part of the business. And, I was like, man, this just is not the way that it's supposed to work out. I have this land in Arizona. And I'm like, it's not supposed to do this. And so I said,
Shelley, let's go ahead and stop there, because I want to come back and want you to pick up here from here and tell us what changes you made, what happened after that, and then I want to go into qualifying yourself to create your own success, how this came about, and what it is that your intentions are with this, and so forth. Are you good with that?
Okay, great.
Okay, yes, and that's a good place to start, because I want to keep the audience I want them to be on their toes and coming back for more for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna play a song called JJ Rade Ramana Hari Bol by the Nanda Rasa Kirtan Band. And if you're watching this on Ustream, I'm putting the album cover on the video, so on the monitor, so you can see that. And anyhow, we're gonna play this song. We're gonna sing out "Love, Blessings, Healings, Angels of Light and Love" to you and all your family, and Shelley, and all your place of residence, your vehicle that you drive in, all those things that take care of you. To put to all my family and friends, to all the people here on the phone lines and the chat rooms, all their family and friends, to the President of the United States and all his family, to all those running for office and all their families, and all those helping them and supporting them, and then to all the kids and the animals and the plants on the planet, especially the ones in need concern. Anybody you want to add to that, Shelley?
Nope.
Okay, so to everyone else in need and concern, we will be back. JJ Rade Ramana Haribo by the Ananda Rasa Kirtan Band from their album Mulani Dub Kirtan. We will be back.
Radha Munna Hari Bol. Deve 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 Radha Munna Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Deve Radha Munna Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Deve Radha Munna Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Deve Radha Munna Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Deve Radha Munna 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 Hari Bol.
And we're back. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona. The Spiritual Wings Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships through human values. Tonight we're talking with Shelley Blanzy, all the way out of Chicago. Qualify yourself to create your own success. We basically talked about her background, how she grew up in a very, very different lifestyle. She's been through the mill, let's put it that way, I guess you want to call it that, growing up on a farm and learning basically that the more better you do it something, the more you're going to get rewarded, the more you're going to get out of it. So and now Shelley has had her own salon business, and then she went into a skincare business where she started making 6 figures, and then eventually she got hooked up with a private travel business that she's been working with. And she went through so far she's been, as we know, she's been through 2 divorces. The second one really took her for a loop, and that's kind of where we left off at. Saying she went to talk to her lawyer, and her lawyer saying that she was $1 million in the hole. Holy cow, how did that happen? Go ahead, Shelley.
I know, right? How does that happen? I always tell people, my debt was not, just...
Are you on a speakerphone, Shelley?
I'm not.
I hear a background. I don't know, well, let me ask this, area code 209, did you have a question for Shelley at all? You're in the conference call, whoever you are. Area code 209? Okay. So, good, I'm not getting that they wanted to ask a question, but, so we're gonna go ahead and mute them, so, in case there's any extraneous, background sound. So go ahead, Shelley, so how does that happen? How did somebody get in, someone like you into a hole for $1 million?
I know. I've heard of people saying, high amounts, but I was like, really, God, I got to do more than that. So my debt was my house. Everything was attached to my home. So we had bought some land up in Solo in Arizona. So I had 2 pieces of land up there.
Well, that's where my dad, well, before he passed away, that's where he had some property. He still does. His wife still lives there, but that's where his property's at in Shello.
Yeah, so when the market was really, going high, that's when I bought it, and then it crashed, and so couldn't get rid of it. So I had 2 pieces of land up there that were attached to my home, and then I, bought into another business with somebody, and then, just debt like that. So it was all business debt. It wasn't, like personal type stuff like that. So so my attorney just, said what's going to happen is you're going to have to file bankruptcy. You're going to get a letter that will say that your house is going up for sale, and then you're going to have to file bankruptcy, to freeze it so that way you can stay in the house longer with your kids. And I was just like so overwhelmed. I mean, I was literally on the floor, just screaming and, just crying to God, like, you've got to get me out of this mess. And I had this, girlfriend who had given me a necklace with a mustard seed, and I literally just used to wrap it around my wrist and put it in the palm of my hand. So I would just fall to the floor, and I was like, God, you gotta help me. Like, you gotta help me get out of this mess. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I have these kids to take care of, and, I was overwhelmed. So, and that was in March, and then that year in October, I actually got the letter saying that my house was going to go up for sale, and so I called my attorney, and he said, okay, now this is when you file bankruptcy. So we filed bankruptcy, and 2 days later, this is a really weird story. It's very moving, but a stranger just showed up on my doorstep, and he rang my doorbell. And I remember going to my door, it was like 7 o'clock at night, and I was like, I didn't know the guy, and so I'm talking to him through my window, and he's telling me that he wants to buy my house, and I said, sir, you can't buy my house. It's over $1 million in debt. I just filed bankruptcy. My house is in foreclosure. Everything that I own is attached to it. And he wouldn't stop talking, and I was thinking to myself, what part did he not get? Like, I've been very transparent with him. I wasn't trying to hide anything. And, I mean, there's just some times in your life where you just really don't give a crap of, who you say or what you say to. And I was at that point in my life, and something in my heart just kept on saying, open up the door. And I was resisting. I was like, no, I don't know him. He's a man. He's a stranger. Like, I'm not letting him in my house. And next thing I know, I just remember putting my hand on the door and turning the knob, and I invited him in. He came in my kitchen, and we were standing there talking, and I said, sir, if you don't believe me, I said, there's the mess that was all over my kitchen table. And he said, do you mind if I take a look? And I said, no, go ahead. And he started looking through everything, and he said, I don't believe that you're in the mess that you think you're in. And I said, I paid 2 attorneys. I know where I am, and this is what they told me. And this is what's going to happen. He said, why don't you come to my house tomorrow, and I'll show you how to get out of this mess. And I'm like looking at him like, I didn't want to let you in my house. I don't go to your house. It seems kind of weird to me. So I had an assistant, and so I asked her if she would go with me, and I figured if I was going, I didn't want to go alone. So she agreed to go, and so we drove. It was about 45 minutes from my house, and we pull up to his house, and it had a for sale sign and a sold sign on it. And when we got to the door, he flips homes for a living. That's what he told me that he did.
Wow.
And he said that he had just sold this house, and that, they were just waiting on an inspection. So when we walked in, it was just really weird. There was no furniture in the home besides a kitchen table. the guy made us like a spaghetti and meatball once. I was like, this is just weird. Like, it felt like the Twilight Zone. And so we were sitting down, and I always have a headset on, you know, because I work from my phone. And so I was like, hey, I got to take this call. But I really wanted to, like, walk around the house because I was like, I hope that he has no chainsaws or he's not going to tie us crazy to it. I had all these crazy things going through my head, freaking me out. So but there was nothing in the house. I went down the stairs. I went upstairs. There were no beds, nothing. It was just weird. And he told us that he was moving on after he sold this house. And, you know, I was like, okay, I really wasn't concerned about him. I was more concerned about me at the time. And so he sat down and he showed my assistant how to do everything, and we left, and so she was like showing me what I needed to do, and I would literally just drop my head on the kitchen table and I would just cry because nothing that he said was working. And I was like, oh my God, he told me that this would work. And so I remembered that at this point in time now, I'm training for my company. I'm flying around the world and, you know, teaching and training, you know, network marketing. And I had to go to New York, and this was in December after I met this guy in October. Now I'm in December, and I couldn't get anything to work. And what I found out was when you file bankruptcy, you can't settle anything when you're in bankruptcy. You have to wait until you got to go through the process.
Got it.
And so I had to fly to New York, but right before that, a woman in my organization put 6 sales in like 24 hours, and I was like, who's she? And so I picked up the phone and I called her, and we made arrangements to meet on Monday when I got back in town, you know, and I said, I just want to meet you. I want to have lunch with you, see what you're doing. And, you know, she said, okay. So we hung up the phone, and so I fly to New York, and I locked myself. I got locked out of my hotel room, and I got in the elevator, and I got stuck in the elevator. And this woman that I'm supposed to meet on Monday starts texting me, asking me if I could talk. And I'm thinking, I just want to talk at a meeting on Monday. Like, I'm stuck in an elevator. Not that she would know that, but, you know, I'm like, oh. So I texted her back, and I told her, you know, what was going on. I said, if I do in time, you know, I'll call you. And so when I got back to my room, it was like 11:30 at night, but I was thinking Chicago time, it was only 10:30. So I thought, I'm going to try her. And I called her, and she answered the phone, and she just said, Shelley, I know that you don't know me, and I don't know you. And I was like, okay. And she said, but I'm a woman of faith, and I'm a woman of, you know, I'm a woman of God, and I'm a woman of faith. And I was like, okay. And she said, and God's been showing me things about you. And I was like, all right. I just felt like it just felt weird, you know, and I was like, okay. And she said, God's been showing me you on your hands and knees next to your bed with a mustard seed in your hand, just screaming out for help. And I just started, I was sobbing. I was like, okay. God wants me to tell you some things. And I was like, okay, anything at this point would be good. And she said, God wants you to know that you have an umbrella over your head and that you're going to be protected. She goes, but he also wants you to know that one day you'll be standing on stage in front of thousands of people giving him all the glory. And I was like, okay. And I'm like sobbing, I'm crying, and I'm like, I don't know this woman. I'm thinking, she has no idea what I'm going through because I wasn't sharing it with people. It was it was a really hard time in my life. And you know, so I remember I got back from New York, went to my bankruptcy attorney, and we went in, and I watched people lose their lives, Andrew. Like, it was the saddest day of my life, watching older people lose their homes, lose everything that they had worked their whole lives for. And I was just sitting there watching them going, I can't believe that this is really happening to me. And so I got up there, I did my due diligence, and I was walking out with my attorney, and he looked at me and he said, it's a great day, Shelley Blanzy, when you can write off over $1 million worth of debt. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going to take it all back. And he goes, no, you're not. You are not going to do what that guy told you to do. And when you file bankruptcy, you have so long to settle your debt. And so I said, I really have to, so there's something in my heart that's telling me that I have to go try this. And he said, it's not going to work. And so, he wrote me a letter saying, you know, the moral of the story is that you should never be late on your payments and that you wouldn't be in the predicament that I was in. But if I wanted to give him another down payment, that he would go and try to do what this gentleman said that was possible. And I emailed him back and I said, your services will no longer be needed because when you don't believe that something is possible, I don't believe that you would be a good fit for me to help me get off.
Exactly right. You're not being supportive.
So I decided that I was going to do it myself. And I was like, I've never, you know, done anything like this myself before, of course, or I'm not an attorney by any means. And so I stopped by a friend of mine's house, and her husband had told me that if this was possible, that he would give me the money, you know, to settle my debt and get out of the mess. And I was like, I've never asked anybody for anything my whole life. You know, I've been the one who always figures it out, you know. And so I started doing what he said, and then I got another letter in the mail that said that my house was going to be going up for sale, like on the 19th of December, right before Christmas. We put up a Christmas tree. We didn't put any ornaments on it because I told my kids that if we had to get out of the house, somebody told me we only have so many hours. And I was frightened. Yeah, and so we just put up a tree, but we didn't put any ornaments on it. And, I remember I couldn't get any banks to return my calls, and when he taught me when you settle debt that you have to do it a certain sequence, and if you don't do it in the right sequence, it doesn't work. And so that Monday, before I was going to lose my home on that Thursday, I got an email from the woman that I needed to settle the debt with first, and she said, unfortunately, Shelley, I'm no longer handling your case. And she said it's been handed over to the Eric guy, and so I fell on my knees, and I just was screaming at the side of my bed, just sobbing, and I was like, no, this cannot be happening. This can't happen. Like, I couldn't take back this debt and not get rid of it again. And so I decided to call the number that she left, and the guy answered the phone, and I'm sobbing at the time. And I explained him to my situation, you know, that I'd gone through a divorce and, you know, that I was going to lose my home. And I owed him $300,000, and within 5 minutes we settled it for $50,000.
Wow.
And so then, I know, right? And then I called up debt number 2. I owed him $156,000. They took $12,000.
Wow. Holy cow.
Within 2 days, within 2 days, I settled all my debt for $110,000.
Wow.
Getting my home, getting all my equity back in my home. So then I just, I said, wow, like, I felt so blessed. Like, I was like, how did that just happen?
So those lawyers were blocking you from settling your debts. That's what it feels like to me, with their energy.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
My divorce attorney today, he still is in shock that it actually happened.
Right?
So, but here's the crazy part. So then I go to Arizona to hang out with some of my friends over New Year's because I just needed to get out of town. Like, I was just so overwhelmed and stressed out. And so we got stuck in Arizona because of a snowstorm. I couldn't get back to Chicago, and so I stayed at my friend's house. We were taking off on a vacation. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't call Mike back and ever thank him. I would have never known how to do any of this if he didn't show me how to do it. And I picked up the phone, and his number was disconnected.
Wow.
My assistant tried to email him, and all the emails got bounced back. He no longer lives in the home. He showed up at my house, Andrew, out of nowhere on a weekday night at 7 o'clock in the evening, and just rings my doorbell out of nowhere wanting to buy my house and shows me how to get out of this debt. Now he's nowhere around to be found.
Wow.
Crazy. I would say he was my angel.
And then you haven't talked to him since?
No, I can't find him. We tried to locate him and everything. We haven't been able to find him.
That's amazing. Wow.
Like, he showed up out of nowhere and he disappeared out of nowhere. After that, I was like, I made all this money, on my debt, and so I ended up making about $300,000 on my debt of over $1 million of debt, and so then I had to sell my home and pay back my girlfriend, and then I decided to start my own foundation. of a soft place to land and go in and redo women's bedrooms for them because I wanted to give back. And, I felt like if you get blessed, you got to go bless other people. And I, just as a woman, I just felt like I was hitting concrete in my life at nighttime. My bedroom became my sanctuary, it became my place of peace. It was where I got clarity, that I could spend time alone with God. And, I said, I'm going to go and redo women's bedrooms for them. So I started it and, it just felt perfect to name it a soft place to land. And I felt like I needed to, my whole life, I just feel like everybody's looking for people to validate them. I just don't believe that that's true. I felt like I needed to validate myself. I needed to start qualifying myself, and that's where I came up with that whole, thing is that I don't look for other people to approve of what I do. And, a lot of people, network marketing is not your typical type of business, but owning my life today, not having to have a job, being able to stay home and take care of my kids. And, I feel like I live a blessed life because of it, but it was also, just always knowing that I always had everything inside of me. I didn't need someone else to be like, Shelley, you're great, you're amazing. No, it's already inside of all of us. And I just felt compassionate about, sharing it with the world and, going out there and letting people know that you can be and have anything that you want to be. See, my whole purpose in life is that I just want to matter and make a difference in other people's lives. I want to help them, to be anything that they want to be. It used to be just for my kids, and one day I was like, wow, what a shallow legacy was just to leave it behind to 3 people. And I'm like, I want to leave it to the world, that we don't need all that from other people. We're always looking for people to approve of what we do. And I just don't look for anybody's approval. Like, I really have gotten to the point where I'm so emotionally detached from people's thoughts of what they think of me and, what I do or how I do it, because I feel like we walk around, worrying about what people are going to say about us or how they're going to feel about you. And at the end of the day, it just matters, with my relationship with God and myself and my family and my, business and what I do. So I just felt like prioritizing my life, which was really important. So now I've spent so much time with me, I think that, I got passionate about women because I feel like most women lose their way along the way. They start getting married, having children. We sit back and, take the back seat for a while. And, I was like, you don't have to do that. You can have all this and, live the life that you were destined to live. So that's what, I'm just so passionate about it, and I want to share it with the world.
Nice, nice. So, qualifying yourself, what does that mean to you, Shelley? How do you do that? How do you define that for yourself?
Well, that's what I was just saying was, you don't need validation from other people. That's what we truly look for. Is we look for everybody to, approve of everything that we do. And you don't need to. You can qualify yourself. There's no validation needed. Everything that you were supposed to be and that you're supposed to have is already inside of you.
So how do you do that for yourself? Again, I hear what you're saying. That you're not looking to external information or people, externally to people to qualify yourself. So how do you do that for yourself?
Well, I had to spend a lot of time with me, getting to know me, because, like I said, I think everybody gets busy with their everyday life and everything that's moving around them. And so I spent time with me, just asking myself questions, like, who am I? Why am I here? And I don't believe, like, my children are my life. I love them more than life, but they're not why I'm here. I don't believe that God put me on this earth to be a mom and to do laundry and to cook and to clean. I feel like there was a bigger purpose for me. So I had to sit there and I had to spend a lot of quiet time with myself, asking myself, like, why do I need a big home? Why do I need, nice cars and clothes and, travel the world? Like, why do I need all that stuff? And I didn't realize that there are feelings inside of you that spark you. Like, I just want to matter and make a difference in the world. Like, that's what it started stirring up inside of me, that I was looking for who I was and what I was here for. Because I'll ask people, like, why are you here? And I think it confuses people at first because they're like, I don't know, and I'm like, to work to just pay your bills and to get by. Like, I don't think that people really think outside of the box. I think that they think inside the box and they don't really think of, why am I really here? Like, what's my purpose on this earth? Because I believe that everybody has a purpose.
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
doing this.
And so, what did you conclude? What did you assess after contemplation and meditation and assessing all this? What did you determine for yourself that the reasons that you're here for?
Yeah, I came up with that I need to matter and make a difference in people's lives. Like, I'm here to impact people's lives, and I mean, you can do it in all different ways. But I really believe that I'm here to, teach them, that they can be and have anything that they want to be. It doesn't matter whether it's on a big scale or a small scale, but, that you can do it yourself. That it's not like a special little pill or, anything like that you take. It's like, you just have to believe in yourself. That's it. You don't need other people to believe in you. You have to believe in it.
Got it.
You have to believe that it's possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then
if you don't believe that it's possible, you're never going to achieve anything.
Exactly. So now, what have you determined that how do you define success? What does success mean to you? What does that mean in terms of?
Well, success is on so many different levels. It can be like, success to me is, becoming a great mom and, being there, supportive to your children and, listening to them and having conversations and, being a part of their life. Like, that could be success to somebody. Like me, I wanted to be an amazing mom. I wanted to be a part of my kids' lives and, support them in everything that they do. Like, that's success. It could be financial, and everybody's level of finances are different. I mean, it might mean, having, for me, I just wanted freedom. That was success to me, was having more money than what my bills were, that I didn't need to worry about money on a regular basis. That could be success. Success to people could be having a home and, a nice car. It could be successful in marriages. I mean, there's so many different areas of success in your life that it's not just based around a job. Like, titles don't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're more successful than somebody else. To me, it's just freedom and owning your life was success for me, but once again, I want to, have great relationships with my friends. That's success. And so it's not just in one category, it's in every category of your life that's important to you to become successful in that arena.
So now that's a really good point that you've made, Shelley. And so many people, they'll say, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire," or "I want to be rich," "I want to be wealthy." And wealthy and being rich are not necessarily in the same category or the same thing. But being rich or being a millionaire, those are can be and are in the same category. But even if you are rich or even if you are a millionaire, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have enough that's enough money to pay all your bills. And even though you're a millionaire, doesn't mean you have that you have that your bills are more than a millionaire, and more than what you have. So having more money than what your bills are, I think is a very important perception that people might want to consider when they're wanting to be more abundant and more prosperous and more more financially financially put together or financially above well off. So that's a really good point, and I guess I hadn't really thought about that, but because I work with what you call programs, and I'm always working with different things that have to do with finances. I want to have enough money to go to Florida next month. But I think a better program would be I want to have enough money to not only pay all my bills, but have more than enough money to to do what I want in Florida next month, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But I believe that whatever you say is what you get. I'm a firm believer on the power is in the tongue, So if you keep on saying you're broke, you better believe your bank account.
Exactly.
And so you believe that you have a life of abundance, and people say, well, I am broke. And I said, well, if you like it, keep on saying it. And I say things like, money chases me, it follows me everywhere, I have certain things that I say to myself all day long that, I have my bank accounts overflowing with money. Where most people are like, there's not enough money at the end of the month, and I know how that feels because I've been there. And I remember I kept on saying it, and one day, I read this book, and it changed my life. I was like, oh my gosh, everything that we say is exactly what we get, So I know that everything is basically built around the mind and your belief system and what you say, and, all that is a reflection on what you get out of life.
So qualifying yourself is from what I hear you saying. Also, it has to do with your perceptions of how you think and things that you say, what you use in your verbiage and your vocabulary that every day and so forth. Is that what I hear you saying?
Every day, every second of the day, like all day long. It's like I tell people all the time, stop speaking death into your life. Like people will say, like I'm never gonna have, or oh, it probably won't work, and I'm like, those are words of death for me, because you're just speaking death over your life. You're not speaking life into you, and so I will tell people, we can't hang around very much longer if you're going to keep on talking about it. Because the longer you speak death into your life, it's going to start infiltrating into my life, So I want a life of abundance. I'm a dreamer. I have big dreams and goals in my life that I want to think about. I don't want to think about all the bad things. Believe me, I've had plenty of bad, and I don't focus on any of it. I don't live in the past. I tell people, you're creating stories around your life of what happened. I mean, at the end of the day, did things happen? Yes, but we're the only ones that get to give it meaning on whether or not it's going to reflect and keep us back there, or if we're going to allow it to move forward. It's like you probably heard the saying, if you're looking in the rearview mirror, you're probably going to crash while you're driving, and then you're going to have to go and get repaired. And so it's the same thing here. That you can't live in your past. I mean, I've had a lot of stuff happen to me, and I blame nobody. I have no madness over it. I'm not, I don't think that I'm better than anybody. I just wanted to become an overcomer of it, not have to, I'm not sad about any of it. I mean, I think that, everything turns out the way that it's supposed to, and we're all going to be okay in the end.
Absolutely, Alex, absolutely. So, Shelley, we got about 16 minutes left, and is there something that you want to put out there that we haven't talked about yet? You got stuff coming up that where people can go and meet you or listen to you in person or whatever. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I train for my network marketing company, so I do that on a monthly basis. And then right now, what I just did was I just spoke at a battered women's event, and so it was all for, women who had been battered. And so I went in and spoke at that. And so we gave away a bedroom makeover at that. So we are going to be going in and doing a bedroom makeover. So if anybody wants to, go donate at my website, they can. Because I use all my own money. Sherwin-Williams donates the paint. They're going to start painting for us. They want to be a part of it.
Oh, nice.
But if you guys want to nominate other people, we're always looking for somebody else. They have to write up a story of why they should be nominated. Or it's kind of interesting because a lot of times it's children nominating their parents, older children who write stories, and it's very emotional for me to read them. I get very touched by them because, it's like we just always think that our life is, so hard and so tough until you read somebody else's life and then you go, mine wasn't so bad, For me, it's about, giving me an opportunity to bless somebody who, could be blessed, but, I mean, I'm just in the process right now. My goals in my life right now are to write my own book, you know, to share, you know, my life story with everybody, you know, because I just want to give people hope and belief that, you know, I can instill in them that we can get through this. If I can get through this, you can get through anything that you're going through. So that's really about all that I have on my plate right now. I actually have a beautiful girl here that I met through my business who is, we're overcoming cancer right now. So I've been taking a hiatus. I'm getting my middle daughter off to college and then, you know, helping her get through this process. So, I'm taking quite a few things off my plate right now, you know, and just focusing on her and getting her, you know, to help and, you know, get to the life that she's destined to live.
Wow, nice. So, and if people want to get a hold of you, they can go to your website, ShelleyBlanzy.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's ShelleyBlanzy.com. And so they can reach me there. They can reach me at ShelleyBlanzy1@AOL.com. So I'm still an AOL user. People are like, AOL, like, I'm like, I know. I'm not the most tech savvy person at all. It's not where my gifts are.
Yeah, exactly, right. And, well, I want to thank you for stopping by and sharing some of your valuable time with us and your stories. And I'm sure that all will be well with you and whatever you do and whatever is going on in your life. I'm sure that. And I don't know. And again, if people want to donate either stuff or money or something like that, they can go to your website. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Good. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Have a God Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye. Your conference recording has stopped.
And that is a wrap. Can you hear me still?
Yay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, are you okay with it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You had some good. I mean, that's your book right there. I don't know if you understood that or know that. Do you know a Gil Bikram something?
Yeah.
Okay, well they were they were listening in as well. So, but no, that's your book right there. I don't know if you understand that or know that, but.
I do. I just need to. I mean, there's a lot of pieces and parts that I leave out.
Yeah.
Because it's just so much already. You know.
Well, no, that was fine. I remember I was living in Tucson and I got downloaded with I was living here in Flagstaff prior to, and then I got downloaded with about 3 different books. And then in Tucson, I knew I was sent to Tucson to write a book, and I never did write it. So then I moved back here to Flagstaff last year. I've been here just over a year, and my guidance goes, well, you have 2 weeks to write your book. I said, what do you mean 2 weeks?
Oh wow.
Well, no, I don't. That's not enough time. What are you talking about? You got 2 weeks to write your book. I said, oh, fine. So I did. I put everything on hold. I took 2 weeks off, and literally to the very last minute almost, I wrote the book. And then I spent 4 weeks learning how to format it for Amazon and Kindle and then put it out there. So you know how it's like that. And I don't know if you want to use the title that we just did. Qualify yourself to create your own success. I don't know if you want to use that title or not, but I think this is just as good as any if you want to use that.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's the plan, Andrew. That's the plan.
Because that way,
I need to get my butt moving on some things. I just have been, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I went through so much that I was like, I need to slow down for a minute.
Well, exactly. I almost got killed twice over because that was the message for me to slow down, and then I tripped off a roof and broke both my heels, and then 2 years later, again, I got another accident. Some old people rode my car and almost killed me. And again, the message was slow down, and so that's what I've been doing for the last several years, slowing down and trying to keep a happy medium. So, I don't know if the same thing can happen to you. You're going to have to write your book in 2 weeks, but hopefully not. Maybe
not.
But most everything I already knew. I already knew it was in my head. I just had to write it down on paper. So that's how it all went. And that sounds like to me like you're the same. You have everything there in your head.
I prefer speaking over writing.
Well,
or not.
Well, what you can do is just and even with this interview, you can go back and listen to it. But go and just talking to a mic or just have someone interview you, and if you want, and just tell all your stories in full and detail, and then you can use that. I can't remember what it's called, dragon something, where it literally takes all your audio and makes and puts it into text.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
I'm gonna hire somebody to write it. That's all I know. Yeah. I just really, there's certain things in life that you want to do and you don't want to do, and that's one that I don't want to do. Yeah. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks. And then again, I don't know. I think it's September. You want to do the travel show, and all you're doing is talking about your travels on that show.
How long?
The same amount of time, but you can do an hour if you want. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half.
I have to think about that. I gotta come up with something for an hour.
Well, no, that's why I'm doing it, because you don't have to come up with anything. All you're doing is talking about your travels, all the different escapades you've been on.
Alright, I'm gonna have to do some logging.
Logging?
Just go and do some journaling. I said I was gonna start, keep on saying I'm gonna journal it, so I need to start journaling all the places that I've been. I forget.
Well, maybe this is a good place for you to start. And that's what I just been bringing people on, and they're just talking about all their different escapades, and they're all probably even better because we'll talk about the ones that you like the most, and the ones that you like the least, and the ones that where you had some interesting food or trips. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can format it. All kinds of ways you can format it.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to do that?
All right, well, keep me posted, and then
it would be on September 9th if you want to do that one.
Yeah, let me just check my schedule. I haven't looked at it to see if I'm traveling or something.
That's going to be a Friday night. So
okay.
if you want to do that.